Hello students, in the previous video you learnt about the classification of elements given by the early chemists Daubernier, Newland and Mendeleev. In this particular video you will be learning about the classification of elements given by Moseley and his periodic table known as the Moseley's periodic table. This is Moseley's periodic table. We will know about it in a very detailed way. Now here we have classification given by Moseley. The basis of classification of elements that he considered was atomic number. So for the first time Moseley chose atomic number as the basis of classification and not atomic weight. So he arranged the elements in increasing order of their atomic numbers in 7 horizontal rows called periods and 18 vertical columns called groups. The modern periodic law. Let us learn about the law. I have told you that you should state the law as it is given by the scientists. Modern periodic law states that the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. The only difference between the Mendeleev's periodic law and the modern periodic law is just you have to replace the atomic mass with atomic number, that is all. Now here we know that he considered atomic number as the basis of classification and not atomic mass. This is how an atom is present in the periodic table, and the information of the atom in the periodic table. We have the symbol of the element, we have the name of the element, the atomic number, the atomic mass of the element. All these details are given in the periodic table. You already know that the nucleus is a centrally located region in an atom which contains positively charged proton and neutrons which have no charge. That is why the nucleus is always positively charged. Around the nucleus, in definite paths or imaginary paths, we have electrons which are negatively charged, which are revolving in the imaginary paths called as orbits, orbitals, shells and energy levels. Now you have learnt about the 4 shells K, L, M and N. K is very close to the nucleus, it is the first shell. L is next to K shell, it is the second. M is the third shell. N is the fourth shell. Now these are the main shells, but in the state board there is a concept about the subshells. Though you don't have for the exam, you should have a knowledge about these subshells. So I will be teaching you a little about the subshells. Now these main shells, we have here the K main shell has one subshell and that is S. The L main shell has two subshells and the two subshells are S and P. And then we have the M main shell which has 3 subshells and they are S, P and D. And we have the N main shell having the 4 subshells, that is S, P, D and F. We have the same thing again here. You have to know the concept that the orbitals have the subshells or the shells have the subshells. The main shells are K, L, M and N and the subshells are S, P, D and F. Now let us move on to the K main shell. The K main shell, as I told you, has one subshell and the maximum electrons in that subshell is 2. That means K can take a maximum of 2 electrons. L main shell has 2 subshells, S and P. S can take a maximum of 2, that means it can take 1. It cannot take more than 2. P subshell can take a maximum of 6 electrons. That means it can take 5, it can take 4, it can take 3, it can take 2, it can take 1, but it cannot take more than 6. So totally 6 plus 2 is 8. That means L main shell can take a maximum of 8 electrons. M main shell has 3 subshells, S, P and D. S can take a maximum of 2 electrons, P can take a maximum of 6, D can take a maximum of 10. So totally M main shell can take a maximum of 18 electrons. Similarly, N main shell has 4 subshells, S, P, D and F. S can take 2, P can take 6, D can take 10 and F can take 14. So N main shell can take a maximum of 32 electrons. So this concept you better know, because the periodic table is classified based on these subshells. Hence you better know the main shells and the subshells. The main shells are K, L, M, N, and the subshells are S, P, D and F. After learning about the main shells and the subshells, we will learn the position of the subshells in the periodic table a little later. We will now learn what is meant by periodicity in properties. This is not new for you. You have learnt this in the Mendeleev's periodic table. So periodicity in properties is nothing but the arrangement of elements with similar properties appearing at regular intervals is called periodicity in properties, and the properties which repeat themselves at regular intervals are called periodic properties. That means we have certain properties which repeat at regular intervals in the periodic table. These properties are known as periodic properties, and the phenomenon is known as periodicity in properties. What is the reason for periodicity in properties? After definite intervals of atomic number, reoccurrence of similar electronic configuration takes place. That means at regular intervals, we have elements having the similar electronic configuration, and because of which it exhibits periodicity in properties. Since properties of elements are dependent on the number and arrangement of electrons in the valence shell, elements having similar electronic configuration have similar properties. That means we know that the valence electrons are the electrons which take part in a chemical reaction, and the same number of valence electrons we see at the regular intervals of time in the periodic table, and hence they exhibit similar properties. And so this is one of the number and arrangement of electrons in the valence shell is also one of the reason for periodicity in properties. Now we have some periodic properties. Actually, we will not be learning all the periodic properties in this standard. You will learn about the periodic properties and the trends of these periodic properties in the periodic table in grade 10 in detail. Now the first periodic property that you have is atomic radius. Atomic radius is nothing but the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell. Now here in the diagram you can understand very well the distance between the center and the outermost shell, we call it as atomic radius. Ionization potential. It is nothing but the amount of energy required to remove an electron from the outermost shell of an isolated gaseous atom. So when an electron has to be removed from the outermost shell, there is some amount of energy that is required. That required amount of energy is called ionization potential. That is in order to form an ion. Then electron affinity, the amount of energy released when an atom in the gaseous state accepts an electron to form an anion. When an atom accepts electrons, it forms an anion. So this is done by releasing some energy. So this is the amount of energy that is released by an atom in the gaseous state when it accepts an electron to form an anion. You have to just learn the definitions. You don't have to learn anything in detail about these. We have the modern periodic table here. This is a modern periodic table given by Moseley. The elements are arranged in the modern periodic table, but how they are arranged we will understand only when we learn the salient features of the modern periodic table. Salient features of the modern periodic table. First point, we'll see the arrangement. In Moseley's periodic table, the elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic number in 7 horizontal rows called periods and 18 vertical columns called groups. This we already know, we learned the basis of classification there we learned. Now elements in the modern periodic table are arranged vertically into groups. This is a vertical column. This is a column which is a vertical column, and this vertical columns we call it as groups, and this is nothing but a standing line. And then we have elements arranged in horizontal rows, and this horizontal row we call it as a period. This is a sleeping line. So elements in the periodic table are arranged in vertical columns which are called as groups and horizontal rows which are called as periods. Each period begins an element having one electron in the outermost shell and ends with completely filled outer shell elements. To understand this, we will take the example of a period and then learn. We have the third short period. Now here in the third period, we have 8 elements. It starts from sodium and ends at argon. Now we know period is nothing but a horizontal row. In this horizontal row, we have sodium with atomic number 11, magnesium with 12, aluminium with 13, silicon with 14, phosphorus with 15 as its atomic number, sulfur 16, chlorine 17 and argon 18. Now let us see whether this period begins with one electron in the valence shell and ends with completely filled outer shell elements. Now let us take the electron structure of sodium. Now in sodium, there are 3 shells. So we have the third shell which starts from one valence electron. Then magnesium, here the electronic configuration is 282. That means the valence electron is increasing by 1. It started with one valence electron in sodium, and then it became 2 valence electron for magnesium, and aluminium it is 3 valence electrons, silicon 4 valence electrons, phosphorus 5 valence electrons, sulfur 6 valence electrons, chlorine 7 valence electrons, and argon with 8 valence electron. That means it is starting with 1 valence electron and ends with 8 valence electron. That is completely filled outer shell elements. This is what we mean. So we know that each period begins with an element having one valence electron. For example, here this is sodium with one valence electron, and then it ends with completely filled outer shell, and that is argon with 8 electrons. So you can see the valence electrons here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. That means here across a period the valence electrons are increasing by 1. We will now learn about the groups. We know that groups are nothing but the vertical columns in the periodic table, and there are 18 groups in the modern periodic table. Groups 1 and 2 are reactive metals. Group 1 is called as alkali metal and group 2 is known as alkaline earth metal. Groups 3 to 12 are transition metals. Groups 13 to 17, they are the non-metals in the upper right hand corner, and group 18 are the noble or inert gases. We'll learn them in the periodic table. As I told you, we have group 1 alkali metals, group 2 alkaline earth metals, 3 to 12 groups, they are the transition metals, 13 to 17 including the halogens, these are all the non-metals which are upper right hand corner, and then we have group 18 which are the noble or the inert gases. We will be again learning in detail about all of these groups. Now we have the periods and the period number. Periods are nothing but the 7 horizontal rows of elements arranged in increasing order of atomic numbers. Period number. Period number means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. We already know that there are 7 horizontal rows and they are known as periods. That means we have 7 periods in the periodic table and they are numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7, and they signify the number of electron shells of an element. That means the first period has 1 shell, second period has 2 shells, third 3 shells, fourth 4 shells, fifth period has 5 shells, sixth period 6 shells, and 7th period 7 shells. This is what it means. Now here you can see we have the third period with 3 shells. Sodium this is, which belongs to the third period, and that has 3 shells. The first shell with 2 electrons, second shell with 8 electrons, and third shell with 1 electron. So the period will always be the number of shells in an atom, and the group will be the number of valence electrons. So here sodium belongs to third period because it has 3 shells, and it belongs to first group because it has one valence electron. The valence electron will depict the group to which the element belongs. The number of shells will depict the period to which the element belongs. Now we have the periodic table. As I told you, they are organized by atomic number from left to right. So the left to right is a row. Each row is called a period. Period of electron shells in an atom. Period 1, period 2 we have, then period 3, period 4, period 5, period 6, period 7. These are the horizontal rows. Now here we have period number and the number of shells. Period 1, and we have only one shell, K shell, with 2 electrons. This is a very short period. We call it as a very short period because it has only 2 elements. And then we have period 2 with 2 shells, K shell and L shell, and they have 8 elements. So this is a short period with 8 elements. And period 3, we have 3 shells. As I told you, the period number will signify the number of shells. So period 3 and hence 3 shells. These 3 shells are K, L and M, and they can take a maximum of 8 electrons, and this is again a short period with 8 electrons. Period 4 has 4 shells, K, L, M and N, with 18 electrons. It is a long period with 18 elements. So the period 4 has 18 elements in it, and it is a long period. Period 5 with 5 shells, K, L, M, N and O. It is again a long period with 18 elements. Period 6, K, L, M, N, O, P, with 32 elements. So this is a very long period, and a part of it are placed below the periodic table, the main periodic table. They are called as lanthanides. And period 7, they have 7 shells, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, and this is an incomplete period, and a part of this incomplete period, that is period 7, is placed below the main periodic table, and they are known as actinides. That means here we have period 1 with 2 elements and 1 shell, period 2 with 2 shells and 8 elements, period 3 with 3 shells and 8 elements, period 4 with 4 shells and 18 elements, period 5 with 5 shells and 18 elements, period 6 with 6 shells and 32 elements, period 7 with 7 shells and incomplete it is. That means as the new elements are discovered, it is been added. That is why it's an incomplete period. So that means we have one very short period, that is period 1, and we have 2 short periods, that is period 2 and 3. We have 2 long periods, that is period 4 and 5, and we have very long period, which is the 6th period, and incomplete period, which is the 7th period. We have here in this diagram row 1. Row 1 indicates the first period. I told you the first period is a short period with the 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. Then we have row 2, which is the second period. This is a horizontal row. It is a second period, and it has 2 shells, and it has 8 elements. It starts with lithium and ends with neon. We have 8 elements in the second period. Third period is again a short period. Second period is a short period. Third period is also a short period. It has 8 elements again. And then we have fourth period with 18 elements, which is a long period. And fifth period we have 18 elements again, which is a long period. And sixth period there are 32 elements. That is the longest, very long period, or you can say the longest period, and a part of it is placed in the below the main periodic table, which I'll be teaching you in detail. And period 7, which is the row 7, it's an incomplete period. It is an incomplete period because as the new elements are discovered, it is being added here, and that is why we will not tell the number of elements that it has, because it is incomplete. So this was a just brief description of the periods. You will be learning in detail about the periods and the groups in the next video. Look at the description box for any assignments. Thank you.